Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Tom LaHue. We're going to be looking at the Clifton Strengths Finder strength of self-assurance. So if you need a little boost in confidence today, or you're working on becoming more sure of yourself, this is a great video for you. Now, the self-assurance strength comes under the influencing domain in the Clifton Strength Finder system. So there's 4 different domains, and this one comes under the influencing domain. And let's just take a second to read the card about self-assurance and talk about what it is, and then how we might grow in this to be more confident, more able to make decisions faster, and better leaders, better workers in our environments we find ourselves in. Self-assurance is exactly what you think it is, like self-confidence, okay? Self-assurance, people exceptionally talented in self-assurance feel confident in their ability to manage their own lives. They possess an inner compass that gives them confidence in their decisions, that those decisions are right. So there's this understanding, like internally, like I know what to do here, or I know what action should be taken next. And then not second guessing yourself and not doubting yourself or overthinking things. Here's the statements on this card. I am internally confident in the midst of external uncertainty. So thriving in an environment where there may be chaos and people are looking at each other, you know, what should we do? What do you think we should do? And a person with strong self-assurance just internally knows what needs to be done. Well, this is the action that should be taken. Imagine somebody's having a panic attack, and people around are looking at each other. What should we do? Do we need to call 911? Do you need me to get some medicine? And then that self-assurant person steps in and says, all right, calm down, sit still, now say this after me, and maybe repeats a prayer or something to calm the person down. Just having that confidence in your own ability to know what needs to be done in any given situation. I will seek to exert influence rather than being influenced by others. So it's not that this person wouldn't listen to other people's opinions, but at the end of the day, even if they take in other people's opinions, they're pretty confident in what their final action is going to be. They're the governor of their own lives, and they know what action they want to take. I bring a willingness to take necessary risks. Right, because if you know what you're going to do and you feel confident that that's the right action, then it doesn't feel like such a risk as it would for people who, you know, lack that self-assurance. Okay, I need freedom to act unilaterally and independently. Yeah, without a lot of micromanaging or people telling you what to do. I love being in control of my own destiny. I hate others telling me what to do or trying to force their agenda on you. And the metaphor is of an internal compass that you march to the beat of your own drum or to a different drum. And the barrier is you could come across as arrogant and overconfident or self-sufficient. And so this isn't about like, I want all kinds of curiosity to see every option. No, this is a person who wants certainty and has certainty. So let's start with, the book here, Strengths Finder by Tom Rath, and just hit a couple of highlights that he mentions about self-assurance. He says, in the deepest part of you, you have faith in your own strengths. You know yourself, you know what you're good at, you know that you will follow through and that you will confidently take the right actions. You know that you are able, you're able to take risks, you're able to meet new challenges, and able to stake new claims, and you know that you backed into a corner, you're going to deliver, that you're going to step up to the plate, and you have confidence in your ability to work out your problems, solve your own problems, and to deliver on whatever decision that you make. No one can make your decisions for you. They can't tell you what to think. They might guide you, they might make suggestions, but you are the final arbiter or the decision maker. You know what the right decision is and are not swayed by someone else's arguments. You don't question yourself, don't second guess yourself. And so in this book, he has like these ideas for action. Like, well, what could you do with this? Well, he says, look for startup situations where no rule book exists. where there's no policy manual. And you might be a good person to help create that policy manual if you could stay with something long enough, to work it through. But move toward those tasks or those jobs where there isn't a policy manual necessarily that you have to refer back to, because you got a good sense or a good sense of what needs to be done in any given situation. You will be at your best when you're asked to make many decisions. Many, not small, but lots of decisions. How do you feel about decisions? Do decisions bother you? Does making decisions bother you? And why does it bother you? What is it about the decision process? You don't feel like you have enough information? You feel like if you choose one thing, then you're limiting your options? You feel like maybe other people are going to second guess your decisions, or you're caught in a comparison trap with other people? There's a lot of things that could keep us from feeling confidence in making decisions. Maybe you've had some past trauma or past failures and everybody pointed and laughed at you and it felt miserable, you felt small, and you thought, maybe I just can't trust my own ability to solve my own problems. This one came in pretty middle for me. I think it was 14th. Yeah, 14th out of 34 strengths. So I'm pretty self-confident, but I'm not super self-confident. I know that you would never believe that from all these great videos I make, but I believe in what I'm doing, and I put myself out there, and I know it's not perfect. I don't try to make it perfect, and you could get easily caught up in perfectionism, and that would keep you from ever getting any progress or getting anything done. So this is probably in the middle of the group for me. Seek roles in which you can convince people to your point of view, where you're persuasive. And then he gives a couple of jobs you might consider. Number one, leadership. Leadership, why? Because you exude confidence. And in order to get anything done or make any progress, we need somebody who has confidence, who says, I know and I believe that this is the right course of action. I'm going to go this way. You are welcome to follow me. People tend to follow that. Even if it's not necessarily 100% worked out, people look for somebody who is confident. Confidence is very attractive. It just is. It's very attractive in a leader. And if you're going to be a leader, it's great to deliberate. It's great to get consensus. It's great to collaborate. But at the end of the day, you got to know when you know enough to make a decision, and then you got to put that decision out there, and you got to trust your gut and trust your information, trust your resources, and say, look, I've done a lot of thinking about this. I've done a lot of research on this, probably more than anybody else in this group. And at the end of the day, I think that this is the right course of action. And then you probably can't say it that way. You need to just say, this is the right course of action. This is the direction we're going. Let yourself, okay, so other jobs, sales, legal, entrepreneurial roles, and let your leadership show, let it become contagious, because it is contagious. And don't assume that everybody else is going to be wired this way. There's a lot of people that want to second guess and question everything, and that could be a great source of frustration for you. When there's chaos around you, intentionally display and share your calm certainty, because this will give other people security and comfort. And that's really good. All right, so I got a few pages that I printed out of let's just start with, there's like, what is it? How do I develop more of this in my life? What Enneagram types would tend to be high in this? I also kind of wondered which ones might struggle with this. I think you might already know. And then, why would this strength be difficult for some of us to develop? Like, what would be the roadblocks if you scored really low on self-assurance and you really wanted to work on that? Why would this be a problem for some of us? So let's start with what it is. Let's just, we've already talked about this, but we're going to go a little deeper, okay? So confidence in your abilities. Individuals with self-assurance have an inner confidence that stems from their belief in their capacity to be successful. They trust their instincts and are confident in their choices. That's a good place to pause for a minute. Do you believe that you can be successful at whatever, if you worked hard enough and you disciplined yourself and you focused your attention, do you believe that you have what it takes to be successful? And if you don't, that's a good place to really start to think and maybe be mindful, meditate, pray about What is it? What is it that I think I need in order to overcome these obstacles? Why is it I think other people could be leaders but not me? Why is it I think things will work out for other people? It'll probably work out for them, but I don't know that I have what it takes, or I don't know that I have the resources or the programming. Like maybe there's just some kind of universal mark on me that is destined to be at mediocrity. You know, that limiting belief system could really affect how you perform and how you show up in the world. What would happen if you could change that? If you could change that today, if you could change that limiting belief and say, well, I'm quite capable. I could accomplish or anything I put my mind to. I could accomplish if I focused, if I disciplined myself, if I got the information needed, and I worked hard at it, I could accomplish results just like anyone else. So much of this is about mindset. You know, that's one of the big areas of my coaching program, my 3-month coaching program, is working on mindset and challenging those limiting beliefs that exist within all of us, and overcoming those limiting beliefs so that we can fully realize our full potential in life and in our relationships. Navigating uncertainty. These individuals can navigate unfamiliar and unpredictable situations. They believe in their ability to manage and overcome challenges. Can you overcome challenges? Well, look back to your past. I mean, think about your past. You've overcome things before. I mean, you finished the first grade, you finished the second grade, you finished the third grade. I mean, you have overcome obstacles. Those could be physical obstacles, limitations. Maybe you broke a bone and you had to work on rehabilitating that. You've had relationship problems before, and maybe you've gotten divorced and you've come through that. You've navigated those difficult times. You've navigated those difficult situations. Physical health, financial problems. You've gotten out of debt before, and now you've got this insurmountable financial challenge in front of you, and you are starting to lose hope. You're starting to lose patience and lose faith in yourself. Look back into your past and see how you've been able to overcome. God's been with you. You've had a network of people around you to support you, to encourage you, and you have managed to get yourself to this point in life. Why is it now that you begin to doubt yourself? Why is it now that you begin to believe that you're not capable? So maybe you've had some failures along the way. I mean, we've all had failures along the way, and failures are a great opportunity for us to learn, to be humbled, for us to push ourselves in new directions because what we thought would work didn't work. And so now we have to back up and reassess the situation, overcome and challenge once again to face the future with resolve and determination. Not give up. Don't give up. So many people give up. They think this is hopeless. I don't have what it takes. Other people have the advantage. I don't have the resources. And so we could just tend to give up. But giving up is not really going to move you to where you want to be in life. You say, well, I just won't care anymore. Yeah, that's so dark. That's so dark, and it's not moving you in a direction of what you're fully capable of. Okay, so independent thought, self-reliant decision-making, all right, an anchor. Yeah, because you can be an anchor for the group or an anchor for others who find your confidence reassuring when they lack confidence. You know, you kind of share that. You kind of share your confidence with others. Okay, so how would we develop this? What are some things we might work on in order to grow and become more confident, more self-assured, more attractive? Okay, so here's a couple of things. Number one, we already talked about it. Reflect on past successes. Look back to your past when things worked out, when you did win, when you did overcome obstacles, and think, you know, I have made it through so much already. I've made it through some overwhelming circumstances. Here I am. And reflecting on those past successes could help motivate you to be able to face the new challenges that are in front of you. Number two, set achievable goals. Make sure that the goals you set are not so dramatic and so ostentatious and so, you know, aggressive that there's no way you could really accomplish it. Make sure you know the difference between a desire and a goal, because desires are about things you can't control and goals are about things you can control. And you're going to be very frustrated if you're setting goals that you can't really control. Like, I have the goal that my wife would respond to me in a certain way. Well, that's not a goal. That's a desire, because I can't control how my wife responds. I can't control whether the manager offers me the role of supervisor. But I can set a goal to be a dedicated worker. I can set a goal to be a conscientious husband. That I can control. Make sure that your goals are realistic and are pushing you and challenging you, but they're not so unrealistic that they're unattainable. And so if you need some help with goal setting, I have a couple of courses on demand that could really help with that, like the 10-day challenge, for example. Great on clarifying and setting goals for yourself that are realistic, but also push you and, are challenging enough that you don't lose interest in them. Number 3, and this one's kind of weird, I know, but affirmations. But the importance of affirming yourself. And I know that this one may not come naturally to some of us. It doesn't really come natural to me. But taking a walk and saying to yourself, I've got this. I can do this. I'm capable. I'm confident. I can accomplish this. We're going to nail this. We're going to, speak positively and speak with the sense that we can accomplish the challenges that are in front of us. The self-talk that goes on in your head, the mindset, really in many ways determines how far you're able to move forward and what you're able to accomplish. And so telling yourself, so much of the time, let's say it this way, so much of the time we're listening to ourselves. We're listening to our doubts. We're listening to our fears. We're listening to our obstacles and objections. And when our brain starts going that way, we can think of hundreds of these. Sometimes we shouldn't listen to ourselves. Sometimes we should speak to ourselves and say, all right, self, you know enough. You've got everything it takes. You've researched this. Now get up there and you're going to do a great job. Get up there and believe in yourself. Get up there and focus on helping these people. Focus on sharing something that is true and rich and encouraging. And focus on giving yourself the message you need to hear. Maybe it takes looking in a mirror. Maybe it takes going for a walk. Maybe it takes some meditation. But the story we tell ourselves very much affects the story that we are living in. So what story are you telling yourself? And maybe you had some negative influences in your life that painted a negative picture for you. Like, you're hopeless, you're never going to accomplish anything, you're not smart, you're ugly, you're, all these terrible things that people say. Curses. They literally are curses that are placed upon you. And we want to break these curses. You got to break these curses by saying something positive and by believing in more and believing in yourself. I know it sounds kind of cliche, but it is still effective. Okay, number 4, visualization. Visualization. This is you sort of going into your mind's eye and seeing yourself as though you have already accomplished, or as though you are accomplishing the task that's in front of you. Imagine, for example, that you had to give a speech and you're nervous, you're anxious, you're doubting yourself, you're second guessing yourself. Just to close your eyes and visualize yourself giving that speech, and visualize yourself being confident, being informed, inspiring other people and challenging them. Visualize the audience paying attention and listening to you, taking notes and writing things down. That visualization gives you a reference point or a guide for what you want this moment to look like. If you have no idea or no expectation of what you want this moment to look like, that's terrifying. How would you know if you are succeeding? How would you know if you are, you don't know what to expect? And so as you visualize accomplishing the goal, you're better able to realize accomplishing that goal. I know when I was going through graduate school and my doctoral program, when I would go for a walk, I would hum this. I would hum the graduation song, da 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 da, whatever it's called, Ponce and Pomp, Ponce, Pomp and Circumstance, and I would visualize myself walking across the stage, receiving my diploma, because there were so many times I wanted to quit. There were so many times I was just exhausted, I was tired, I was distracted, I wanted to focus on other things, I was overwhelmed with work and family and responsibilities. And I would say to myself, man, I already have enough. I have enough education. I have enough training. Why do I need to keep doing this? But I had set a goal a long time ago that I wanted to go all the way through and finish my doctoral program. I had set a goal to finish that by the time I was 40 years old. And there were those many moments where I had to just visualize myself finishing this, visualize myself being done with it in order to, I had to see it long before it ever happened. Okay, visualization. Number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Surround yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with people that, speak good things into your life, that speak encouragement into your life. Maybe you're surrounded by people that are negative, and you need to be a help for those people, but you got to be careful because they rub off on you. And so surround yourself with people that have a positive mindset, that have a believing mindset. Surround yourself with people that encourage you and believe in you and give you strength, that connect with you and empower you. Everybody in your life can't be a project friend that you're working on and developing. You need people above you and around you that believe in your worth and believe in your value. And then last is practice decision making. Practice it. Maybe play some games with people, that will do this with you. Get them to give you 3 different restaurant choices: Burger King, McDonald's, Taco Bell. And then you have to give your preference. And you say, I guess Taco Bell. Okay. Why? I like burritos better than I like processed hamburgers. And then, okay, Target, Walmart, or Big Lots. Target. Why? Pepsi, Coke, or Dr. Pepper. I mean, these sound simple and they sound maybe ridiculous. But this forces you to make decisions faster and then explain how you came to that decision. And this ability, this skill is what this is all about. It's about making a decision and trusting your gut and then moving forward without second guessing yourself all the time. Because, man, we can become our own worst enemies. Believe me, we can become our own worst enemies as we get halfway down the road and then we get new information and then we think, oh, man, maybe now I need to adjust. Oh, now I need to adjust. And that's going to look like indecision, and it's not going to be anything anybody wants to follow. It's not going to be good leadership to constantly be evaluating and reassessing. And there's a time for that, but once we've set our course, we need to have some confidence going forward if anybody's ever going to follow us or believe in us. Okay, what Enneagram types would probably be good at this or come naturally to? I think probably type 3s, who are very focused on accomplishing and achieving and effectiveness, and they tend to be very, effective at doing those things. Type 8s, of course, come to mind first. Type 8s, not wanting to be controlled and wanting to set their own agenda and not wanting to have to conform to everybody else. So I think type 8s, I think type 1s with a strong gut type, a sense of right and wrong that's guiding them. And even though the crowds second guess, and even though the crowds, I'm going to stay focused on what I believe is right, what I believe is most effective, what I think will accomplish the goal. Who would struggle with this? Well, 7s, yes. 6s, 100% 6s, because of that constant self-doubt and questioning themselves. I could see where 4s could struggle with this as well, and 9s might struggle with this. And I mean, all of us could. 5s even with getting more information. And then why would this be challenging for some of us? Why would this self-assured? Why wouldn't we all just be 100% self-assured? Pop out of the womb and here I am. I know what I want in life. Get out of my way. Why would we hesitate, deliberate? Why would we sometimes be caught up in self-doubt? And here's a list for you. Number one, past failures and traumas. Because I one time was very confident and I went forward and I got into a car accident. I one time was very confident and I made plans and then my husband yelled at me. My parents yelled at me. Or I, made a big flop on the stage and everybody laughed at me. Or I made some decisions, moved things around, and the company lost $10,000 and I got in trouble. And those past failures and traumas, if we're not careful, can turn into future self-doubt and hesitation. Now, certainly we ought to learn from the past, but we can't let it control us. We can't let it limit us going forward. Number two, a perfectionistic mindset. What about us could make this hard? Well, even that type 1 who's the perfectionist, who I just said might be really good at this, could also get caught up in wanting to get things so perfect, especially the self-preservation one, who's the anxious one, who literally is called the perfectionist. That sense of things have to be exactly right and done exactly right could keep you from ever getting things done at all. So getting caught up in a perfectionistic mindset could make you hesitate and deliberate to the point of not being effective. Okay, number three of why this could be difficult for us is just getting caught up in overthinking and overanalyzing. Again, here's the sixes, right? Overthinking and overanalyzing. What do I not know yet? Maybe I don't have all the information. What does Jerry think? What does Tina think? I don't know that I've read all the reports that I need to read. I need time alone. I need time to withdraw. I need to get all the information. And you could get so caught up in all of this that you never really feel comfortable making a decision. In fact, the more you learn, the more confused you become. So knowing when you know enough to make a decision is key here. And, my wife is a brain trainer. She works with people all over the world, helping them develop their reasoning and functioning capacity, their executive function and all that. And she says 80% is mastery. One thing she says all the time, 80% is mastery. So know when you are 70% sure. Know when you are 80% sure. If you're 70% sure or 80% sure about a course of action, then for all practical purposes, you're probably sure about that course of action that should be taken. But what if people object? Well, they probably will. Okay, number three, overthinking, analyzing. Number four, comparative thinking. Constantly comparing yourself to others, especially in this age of social media where everybody's posting, how successful they are and how amazing they are, can erode your sense of self-confidence. Number five, limited exposure to challenges. If you're kind of mama's little biscuit eater and you never had to make any decisions in life and everybody just takes care of everything for you, then you're not prepared, to make these important decisions in life. And so you lived in like an overly protective environment where you didn't have a lot of opportunities to prove yourself. And then you just get kind of thrown out there in the world. Your mom dies and now you're out there in the world and you got to try to figure it out. So we're not doing any favors for our kids if we manage every decision for them. We got to let them start to learn how to manage their own decisions and live with the consequences of those decisions, good or bad. And then lastly is, this could be difficult for us, it comes back to mindset, is if we have an overly fixed mindset. Those with a fixed mindset believe that abilities are static and unchangeable, like fate. I can't change my circumstances. I can't really change. The system's too big. The system's against me. And who am I? I'm one little starfish, in a vast ocean. I can't really make a difference. You can see where some fives might feel like this. All of us could, right? But that fixed mindset could limit our ability from making progress and making decisions and trusting ourselves that we have the ability or the locus of control to change the dials and change the course of action, change the direction for ourselves, for our institutions, for our churches, for our companies, for our families. All right, guys. Wow, great stuff. Let's all work on this. Let's all make the decision, that we're going to have to, all of us, take some steps to move forward in life. And let's work on confidence and self-assurance. And I think together we can make some progress on this. All right, I'll see you next time. And as always, be present to life. Thank you and take care.